Hey there, John Corrales here from the Locked On Celtics podcast, here at the TD Garden with the Celtics winning 126-110, running away from the Indiana Pacers in the second half, in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter. Jaylen Brown dropping a career-high 40 points in this game. It seemed like Jaylen Brown was a little upset about not making the All-NBA team, and he came in here and he just went off. The Celtics get this win. Weirdly, looked like Rick Carlisle kind of waved the white flag early. Tyrese Haliburton left this game with the injury and didn't come back. And he pulled Siakam, he pulled Miles Turner early in the fourth quarter and never went back to them. So the Celtics, I guess the Pacers just kind of understood like this was not going to happen, and they kind of backed off, and they're going to go home and try to protect home court where they are perfect in the playoffs. The Celtics, I'm just going to pull up the box score here real quick. 52% shooting for the Indiana Pacers, which is a regression a little bit because they started out the game shooting 67%. The Celtics got the 40% shooting night that they needed, 15 of 37. So they got those extra three-pointers that we're looking for. And I was talking about in yesterday's podcast and in all my writing on Boston Sports Journal, how can the Celtics get points off of that 128 total that they gave up in that first game? How can they get the Pacers down to below that number and into that 112, 110, which is where it settled, 126, 110. And what the Celtics did was they protected the ball. They only turned the ball over 10 times, whereas they forced 16 turnovers. The Celtics got a ton more possessions, 13 offensive rebounds, and that gave them a lot more chances. They still went to the line 20 times, but they made more three-pointers. And the Pacers missed a lot of shots that they made in that first game. All of those kind of like momentum changing shots. Tony East in the background over here. Say hi. Tony East, where'd you go, man? Let's see if I can get him back here. No, he's going into the back. The Pacers didn't make any of those shots that they were making in game one, where the Celtics went on that run, that 12, get it up to 12, get up to 13. And the Pacers closed those gaps earlier, but in the second half they couldn't hit those shots that they were hitting in game one, which is a big deal. That's something that they couldn't find the answers. Now they were pesky late. They were still fine. They were still annoying late, and they did cut it down to 16. The biggest lead of the game was 20 for Boston, but there was no egregious like turnover differential here. The Celtics got 5 more second chance points. Basically, the Celtics just kind of did a little bit more here and hit more free throws and hit more three-pointers. I mean, that's where it boils down to. And it boils down to Jaylen Brown being awesome. Even though he's got that something with his left wrist that was bothering him, the Celtics got a monster game from Jaylen Brown. And, I mean, he was everywhere. He was on both ends of the floor. He was playing great. He finished 14 of 27, 4 of 10 from 3, 8 of 11 from the line, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, which I think is crazy. Because I think one of the best things that Jaylen Brown did was he moved the ball. I thought he did a great job getting off the ball early when he wasn't forcing much, which is, you know, when you see him getting 14 of 27 and 52% shooting, that's a really easy indicator that Jaylen was not forcing it. I bet his potential assists are off the charts, and some of those shots that he generated didn't fall. I thought Jaylen played a great game. I thought the Celtics played a very, very good defensive game. Not just in the turnovers, but I thought they did a good job attacking the glass. And, you know, the offensive rebounds was a huge factor early in the game. When the Pacers came out and it was a back-and-forth first quarter, the Celtics got 9 early offensive rebounds, and that kept it close. They kept it close in the first quarter. They built a lead in the second quarter, and in the third quarter, they separated themselves. So this was the Celtics are the better team, and this is the game where they kind of played like the better team for most of that second half. Now the question is going to be, how injured is Tyrese Haliburton? How much does that limit him? And I can already see the people starting to talk about, here goes another injured star for, a Celtics opponent. And if that's the case, that's the case. You don't want to see Haliburton hurt, but that's not a good sign for the Pacers, him walking off. I expect the Pacers to come back strong in Game 3. They're very good at home, and I expect Haliburton to be out there and playing. So overall, just the story of this game, Jaylen Brown having a monster game. Jason Tatum, after 6 points in the first quarter, finishes with 23 points, so he had a big second half. Derek White did a good job with 23 points. He hit a bunch of big three-pointers. The Celtics played Celtics basketball. They got a good contribution off the bench from Peyton Pritchard. O'Shea Brissett came in and changed the momentum, changed the energy of the game. They played a bunch of Tatum at center, which is something that people were calling for. I didn't know if they were going to go double big or go small. They went small with Tatum at the center. Tatum at the center with O'Shea Brissett. That's a lot of wing length and a lot of disruptive basketball there defensively. So I thought the Celtics did a great job there. Great coaching decision by Joe Mazzulla to go with Brissett and kind of just change the dynamic of this game. So it was good coaching, good execution, exactly what the Celtics needed in the second half. They pulled away. Now Game 3 in Indy on Saturday at 8:30 on ABC. We'll see what kind of response the Pacers have. That's obviously a monster game for them. They can't go down 3-0 to the Celtics, or else we're looking at a sweep or a gentleman's sweep, and the Celtics will wait for the Mavs and Timberwolves winner. So that's it from here at the Garden. Thank you for joining my live stream. Full Locked On Celtics podcast coming up later on after I talk to everybody in the back. I'm going to go talk to Joe Mazzulla right now. I'm going to go talk to the players right now. So I'll have some of what they said in the Locked On Celtics podcast. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching on the Locked On NBA, Locked On Sports Today feed, and the Locked On Celtics feed. Make sure you're subscribed to the Locked On Celtics. Make sure you're subscribed to the Locked On Pacers. Get both sides of this story when those podcasts post later on. Thanks for watching, everybody.